welcome back to No Sympathy for Kings, a rich man's podcast. I am your host, Ian, and today we're talking to a very special guest. This gentleman his name is Archie J. Jenkins, and he's been a noteworthy leader in the entrepreneurial space. He's always been dedicated to brand advancement and small business owners and new artists, but there is a story behind his story. Before Archie became the founder of 180 Life, he was considered to be an at-risk youth, and in his early adult years, he was actually charged with a few felony convictions. During his time of incarceration, he'd been reflecting on what he did and what it mattered, and that's when 180 Life was created. Archie has always been a visionary with a heart to help others, and once he wrote his vision and made it plain, these things began to shift and manifest. So we're going to bring Archie up front, and we're going to have this conversation. Let's get into it. Archie, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking.
That's good. That's good.
All right. Sounds like you got quite a story.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you are now you're an entrepreneur and author, correct?
Correct. Correct. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And your imprint or your brand or your company is called 180 Life?
180 Life, 180 Lyfe. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what is that?
180 Life is it's about change, man. I was at a low point in my life, and I always would draw circles. One thing about a circle is a 360. They said it's a 360 degree, but if you make a 180, you sit and you turn away from everything that you used to do. So I always tell myself I have to make a 180, and I took the I out of life, and I had to start living for why, And so those are the things that really pushed my brand and pushed me to go into what I'm doing now, man.
Okay. And what are you doing right now? Like, can we get more into like the work?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
Yeah.
I'm the owner of 180life dot com, 180lyfe.com. I am the founder of 180 Life Enterprise Magazine. We're an international magazine that specializes in talking to entrepreneurs, startup companies, those that are got big companies, stuff like that. I was on the set of a movie one time, and it seemed like everybody changes what they're doing for A-list celebrities, but they don't want to talk about the smaller people, the smaller guys. So I decided to make a platform for us smaller people, and just because there's people out here that's really doing it, that's really giving back to the community, that's really helping people. And while I'm doing that, I wanted to help our young guys um, do change as well. So I do go and speak at the schools to the at-risk teens. I do go back and let them know, hey, it's not how you start, but it's how you finish. So I do everything marketing, basically from whatever you want to do. I tell people put your mind to it and go after it. I do 100% marketing from my photography studio because I do photography. That is my first love. All the way over to magazine placement, TV placement. I own my own podcast studio. So I decided to do 100% marketing. And that's how 180 Life began. I started with the magazine, and then I just started doing interviews and kept doing interviews till it became a big buzz, big hit, big thing. Now I'm doing interviews with, I just did an interview 2 weeks ago with Jay Holiday, Prince Amin out of Canada. I'm actually doing an interview next week with After Seven. I was blessed to meet Babyface. I was blessed to meet Fantasia, just different people. But I just really talk about change and going after your dreams and not giving up and understanding it's not how you start, it's how you finish. If they don't give you the yes, make your own lane and build your own house with foundation.
Facts. Yeah. So essentially, you've put together like a multimedia company that's catered to. It sounds like Black Hollywood,
Yeah,
and specifically talents that aren't getting that Fortune 500 push anymore. Like I
correct.
remember when Jay Holiday first came on the scene, like he was supposed to be like the new leader of like the light skin R&B cats. You know what I'm saying? And then
Right.
the first album happened, and then like you didn't really hear from him as much anymore. Even though I know he's put out plenty of music since then.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So, and that's the thing is like I tell brand owners and brand ambassadors and things of that sort, listen, you got to go after it. You got to go after it with everything you have. But we take them and we'll put them on our platform. We're blessed to have a nice size platform. And hey, like I kind of like to say, where are they at now? What are they doing now? And even with Jay Holiday, like I told him, hey, some people have a lot of questions, but then also you're an inspiration. Just to see that, like I told him, for me, what it was for me that inspired me was I was the kid that was bullied in school, the big head, the big list, the big nose. To be on my platform, I'm talking to Jay Holiday, Grammy nominated. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he was at the record label, and he was showing us the studio and different things of that sort. So it was definitely a vibe, man. It was definitely a vibe, and it told me that, hey, I got to keep going because these people do want to hear what he got going on.
Hmm. Absolutely. So why magazines first? What made you go to a magazine or start a magazine versus just doing something more digital? Because magazines kind of like print media is kind of like a relegated medium. So it's like it's catered to like a particular pocket of people that still like to pick up and like actually feel it and read it, you know?
So that went back to my incarceration. Incarceration, we didn't have digital press. We didn't have all this. So it's still, for me, it gives homage to the guys that are still locked up. I needed a magazine. There were times when I needed to get away from my current circumstance, and it was like, okay, I need to see a magazine. Number two, it was the graphics, the colors, the tangible item. Yes, we do digital press. We get a lot of people that order digitally, more digital than print. Um, you know, but also, like I tell people that order print, this will go down in history. If I say I do get a viral moment and go viral, or I do get a moment, and become a superstar, I'm blessed to still, I walk a lot of red carpets, I host a lot of events, and I'm like, okay, you'll have that tangible item, not a digital download. Oh, I knew him when. You'll have something that was like, that's going to be worth something in the future. So that was one reason why I did a print, and I wanted to go against the odds because everybody told me that it was a dumb idea because printing magazines are out. Everything is digital. And I'm like, I bet you I can. So when people
Right.
tell me I can't, I try to push myself to say, yes, I can.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny. Like I just shared like an Ethan Hawke quote, the actor, and he
Mm,
said that it's funny that when you're a kid, everybody tells you to pursue your dreams, chase your dreams. Then when you're an adult, they try to talk you out of it pretty much.
right, right. Yes, sir. That's how they do. When I started the magazine, it was so many people. When I started the 180 show, it was so many people. What is this about? This is dumb. This isn't get this. You're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get this. And now I talk to some of the same people, and I'm like, man, I'm grateful for where I'm at. I'm still going after more stuff, but definitely grateful, man.
Yeah. Now, how long you been doing this?
So the magazine has been in rotation for 2 years. I've been working for myself for the last 5 years. Started with photography. Again, that's my first love. I quit my job to chase a photography dream. I wanted to be one of the celebrity photographers, this, that, and the third. It went well. I've shot some good people, some
Hmm.
A-listers, but at the end of the day, after the shoot is done, you go back home. They're still
Right.
making money off your stuff. You can sell your stuff. But after, and then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, people didn't want to do studio sessions. They wouldn't let you rent studios, and it just was a lot. So I started the magazine, and I was like, it's so much knowledge and reading. And that's another thing that I did want to bring back to the community. Hey, read, 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 read.
Right. No, no, I appreciate that. Just like as a guy that's like an older millennial, like I still appreciate like physical media, even though
Yeah,
I've embraced digital. But like as I get older, I find that like it's almost like empty calories, you know, physical media, you know,
yeah,
because everything that's produced for digital media, it's disposable almost, you know. So
right.
So we push all this content, we spend all this money, we make the
Hmm.
investment of getting equipment and cameras and scheduling interviews and having all these crazy, spicy introspective conversations, and then people can move on from it like that.
Yep.
Whereas to your point, like a magazine or a book, like that is forever. That's your magazine's
It's gonna
probably going to
be
be sitting in a
floating around.
library like 100 years from now, or
Yes.
it's somebody's basement, or up on a mantle someplace.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let's delve into your story a little bit. Like, I want to get some background on you. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Texas. I was born in California, Sacramento, California. Moved to Texas at about 7 years old. I graduated high school. No, I didn't graduate high school, but I got my GED in Texas. Went to college in Texas. Graduated college in Houston, Texas. Yeah, I so a little bit about me. When I was younger, I I actually lived a great life, but then when I got about 16, I started wanting to do my own thing and live my own life, and you know, end up moving in with my big mama, and big mama was bedridden, and so I was grown. You can't tell me nothing. What's she gonna do? I had that. I love big mama, but after you go to bed, I can do what I want to do. Say I'm sorry, and it was cool. Long story short, ended up getting with the wrong people and getting entangled in the wrong crowd, and it landed me in jail. And I'll never forget, I was 17, and in Texas, you're going to adult jail at 17. And so, you know, ended up incarcerated and wanted to get out. Not I'll never forget, my parents bonded me out of jail probably like 5, 6 times, and it was like crazy because now thinking of it, all I had to do was go to school. Everybody that knows me is like, man, you was spoiled. You had everything you wanted. And it was like, I tell people, I think when I got incarcerated and went to prison, that you can't look at other people's problems or where they're at and judge it on they got it better than you, because you don't know what they're dealing with. Um, and I actually have a book coming out next summer, and it's in our Authors of Distinction. I did a chapter in our Authors of Distinction 2023 of the book. I've placed a chapter of it in that particular book that we put out, and I talk about how I went to prison and I almost had lost my mind, and I watched people commit suicide, and I talk about as a child going through sexual abuse and going through different traumas as a kid, and really, once I became an adult, and I think it was after I became successful that I realized everything that I went through triggered from that moment. From that moment on, my life was never the same, if that makes sense. And I'm definitely on a mission to change and tell people that's been through some of the things I've been through, like, hey, you can't give up. You know, suicide's not an option. you know Giving up is not an option. Talk to somebody. You get where I'm coming from. And it's
Yeah.
deeper than just getting money, and it's deeper than owning a business and doing. It's deeper than that. It's really going and meeting people that you can talk to, that you can. I know you scared to tell your business because everybody's been telling, you know what I'm saying? Or I know you've been hurt so many times, but listen, it's a time and a place where these young people have to be encouraged, and you have to be as transparent. And that's what the book next year that's coming out next summer, that I want to be as hard as I can, as transparent as possible, you know. And so, yeah, those are some of the things that I'm talking about in the book, man. And that was my upbringing. I know you was talking about upbringing, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it's all about.
No, that's a lot. Do you have a title yet for the book?
I have not. We have not gotten the title yet. They're
Okay.
working because I have so many projects going on. I'm like, okay, God, y'all know, I'm a worship leader, so um, God, give me the title, and I've been working on it and working on it. I just been writing, man. I've been writing. I catch a lot of planes, so while I'm in the air, I'm always either text talking because I talk a lot, so I'll text it, send it over to my editing team, or I'm always typing and I'm always writing. If it's on my phone or my laptop, I'm always writing so I can get this book done because I feel like it's gonna be a 2 series part. But
Hmm.
as of right now, I want to take people from the beginning till probably I think it's gonna get all the way till I got married. I think that's as far as we're gonna go with that one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you you can't tell the whole story because the whole story isn't completely written yet. You know,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
you're just living out through the chapters. So that makes sense. So, how long were you incarcerated?
All together from beginning to when I stopped getting incarcerated, I've done a total of 8.5 years.
Okay,
But at one time, the max I've done is 3 years.
okay. And what were the convictions?
So I was it's funny. I don't laugh about it, Lord forgive me. But I was one of the people that y'all seen on the news that was doing bank fraud. So I used to defraud the bank for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I
Oh,
I got involved with some hackers and learned how to do a lot of different stuff. And yeah, you think you get, you slicker than oil and you never get caught. And really they be watching you the whole time.
mm-hmm.
It's
Crazy.
crazy because the other day somebody stole my wallet, and I called my mom and I was telling her, I was like, I do believe in karma. Some people don't believe. Some I do believe in karma. And I told her I was like, it's crazy. Like these are the things that we used to do, and it's like I'm not gonna say it flipped my world upside down, but it also was a reality check. Like, man, you got to get everything shut off. You got to remember which cards are on which, what I'm saying, platforms. I pay for a lot of stuff digitally, and thank God I was at home that week. And it's like, man, yeah. So to everybody that I've heard, I always say, hey, I apologize. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was a lifestyle though.
Gotcha. So when you were let's go a bit backward in time too. It's like I just want to give the audience a feel for like who we're talking to, and I think your journey is important.
Yes, sir.
It reaffirms where you're at today.
Yes, sir.
So so when Big Mama went to bed at night, like what kind of things were you getting into as a kid?
So I used to party, man. I look, I had a fake ID. I'm going out to party. I had an older girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? I never really like
Oh, you was the man, huh?
yeah, I was grown, man. I was
Yeah.
doing, you know what I'm saying? But I used to just party, go out drinking. I never really got into the drug game like that, and I knew a lot of drug dealers, you
Hmm.
know. But I just wanted to go and party, go hang out, go chill. I feel like I don't want to say every 16-year-old goes through it, but it was definitely something that a lot of my friends we would all just meet up and just chill and hey, and then I became the neighborhood house. My grandma had got to a point where she would rather everybody come to our house, even though she'll get mad that we up till 2, 3 in the morning. But she rather knowing we were in the house than to be in the streets.
Right.
So yeah, we would just sit at the house and drink, party, you know, do do high school stuff.
Hmm.
They doing it a little different now, but it's just really out in the streets. Um, then before you knew it, I had started stealing and doing dumb stuff. And it's like, bro, what are we out here doing and for what? But as I got older, now I'm like, man, I should have known I'm the only one with a car. I'm picking everybody up. I'm doing this. I'm the only one that got something going on. Always had the only one that kind of had it together. And it's like if you keep hanging out with people who don't have nothing to lose, you'll lose it all.
Yeah, yeah. I was that guy. I was the guy with the car that was always holding down a job, and I was always in a circle of friends that were kind of like just I don't know, kind of finding their way through life and doing all sorts of
Hmm.
wild, wacky stuff. And
Hmm.
I just had a conversation with an old friend of mine about a week ago, actually. He got caught up in the street stuff and ended up going away to camp for a little while for violent crime. And this is I hadn't spoken to him in 16 years, mind you now.
Wow.
I hadn't spoken to him, yeah, since the last time we spoke. He called me at an unreasonable hour, asked me for a ride because I'm the guy with the car. And for the first time ever, I told him no,
Wow.
and he didn't like that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like "F you, it's on site when I see you," blah 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 blah. I'm like, I bet. And yeah, we didn't speak for 16 years after that. Then 3 years after we'd stopped, we paused our relationship. He got into that trouble and ended up going away for I think about 7 years. But today, he's an upstanding, tax-paying American citizen. He's his own. He runs his own business. He just released a book recently, which I just bought. Which I don't
Wow.
have down here. I think it's upstairs, but otherwise I would show it. But he's doing quite well. And the first thing he wanted to do was apologize to me for not, I guess, carrying our friendship or having the same reverence for our friendship that I did at the time. And that just speaks to just the power of time and maturity. And I received that apology, and it's cool with me, and hopefully we'll work together in the future. But we do a lot of wild, stupid stuff when we're young, that have ripples in that pond that is time, and that end up, biting us in the ass for years to come. So
Yes.
I was
Yes.
one of the few people that was, I guess, I had the wherewithal to say, you know what, like I see the path this guy is going and these other cats are going. Like I need to make a decision. Either I'm
Yes.
gonna go, either I'm gonna follow them over the cliff, or I'm gonna go the other way. And I made a decision to go the other way, and I'm thankful that I made a decision to go the other way because when 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 you're kicking it with criminals, you don't look at them like they're criminals. You know,
Yes, sir.
that's your family, those are your friends, those are your
Yes, sir.
peoples. Those are people that held you down. When you needed it, that you had boatloads of laughs with, and
Yes,
had
sir.
a real strong connection and camaraderie. And it takes a lot of I think willpower and self-awareness to make that decision to compartmentalize what your relationship is versus the path that they're on, and then make a decision. So I know that
Yes.
was a very long rant, but
No,
that
you
resonated.
definitely. I definitely. My mom, it finally registered with me. There's no right way to do wrong, you know, and that's the thing is when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you'll get yourself together, you know. And I remember a lot of people distance themselves from me and stop talking to me, this, that, and the third. And it was a journey I had to take on for myself, you know. But I just wanted better. I was tired. You get tired of doing the same old thing over and over.
Yeah. Now, how old were you when you went away, and how old were you when you came home permanently?
So the first long stint, I was 21. I came home at 23. Then I left again. No, I was 20, 21. Yeah, no. I left when I was 21. I came home at 25. I came home, I was 25. And then I left again, I was 27. And I came home, I was 29.
Okay.
And that's it. It's over with. Yeah, I'm too old now, man. I lost all my hair. You look,
Hey, you
you
preaching to the
lose
choir,
everything.
man.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I have a show called The Voice of the Village, and what we talk about on there is when you lose everything and you start over. That's a feeling like no other, and there's no way I can describe it, explain it, or put it into words. It's like no other, you know.
Hmm.
And so
No.
I refuse to lose again. That's
Yeah.
that's my thing. I refuse to lose again, and no, we're not doing that no more.
Absolutely. So you touch down. You're home permanently. You're 29 years old. What do you do at first, like to kind of get the ball rolling and getting your life together?
So once I got home, I I I fell out with my family, but I got a job. That was my thing. Was all I wanted to do was work. I need money. I need to survive. I was in survival mode, and it was like, okay, I ended up getting a job. I ended up getting a car, and I had even gotten to the point of I'll live in the car. I had a brand new vehicle, so it's like, okay, this is what it was. and I ended up moving 45 minutes away from work because the apartment living and all the living out there was a lot cheaper. But I just really just worked double time, overtime, triple time, open to close. I'm taking all the hours and really like, okay, finally getting one foot in front of the other. And but it's it's hard because you go from three hots in a cot to if you don't work, you don't eat. Like nothing is free. Nothing at all. But yeah, I just definitely worked at a friend that got me a job at a restaurant. I was I started off as a dishwasher, and within a week I was at the front, started working in the front of the house. Then probably about 3 months after that, I became a team lead until I left, and it just was like, okay, I started, I always wanted better. So, hey, I found another job. And then when my photography company kind of took off and I realized, okay, I'm pretty good at this. I'm making good money. Like, okay, one photo shoot can pay my bills for 2 to 3 months. It was just me at the time. So it's like,
Right.
okay, that was like, okay, you got 60 days to figure it out. So I just really just pushed myself, man, for real, for real. It was really a blessing. I was really blessed.
Yeah. Now, how long were you like in that situation where you were like living in the car?
So I didn't live in my car. So I was in a halfway house. I went to my mom's house. I ended up leaving my mom's and I had already said, hey, I'm about to move to Killeen. It's a city. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna move to Killeen. I went down there. I looked at the place, and they said it would be ready Friday, and it was Tuesday. And I was like, okay. They told me how much it was. I had that, and Friday I moved in. So I was like going from people's houses for like 2 or 3 days, and then I finally moved into my place. Now, mind you, I didn't have no furniture. I didn't have nothing, I just got a roof over my head
Yep.
and, laying on the floor. But it took me about 3, 4 months to really just say, you know what, I'm going to get a couch. I'm gonna get a futon. I'm gonna get this. It was food or furniture, and I refused to rent anything because I've been to jail for not paying the rental people. Aaron's had already prosecuted me before. I'm not going to none of them places. You scared
Right.
to, like I'm not dealing with none of that.
It's a
And so I
trap.
was,
It's a
yeah, I
trap.
refused to do any of that. I start getting extra little money go when I was working and doing my photography. I finally got on marketplace and looked for TV and looked for different stuff, furnish my house. And now I live a different lifestyle, but I'm okay with saying, yeah, I bought used furniture, I bought used clothes, I bought used shoes. I was looking for trying to figure it out. I'll never forget. Um, my parents were gonna buy me some clothes, and I just wanted work pants. Buy me 5 pair of Dickies, and I'll be fine, and I'll figure it
Mhm.
out. And you save your quarters because I was still going to the laundromat once a week, and
Yeah.
I lived that life for about 6 to 7 months, and a door opened. And when that door opened, I already had 3 or 4 hustles on the side. I was selling clothes, I was doing photography, I was making flyers, and the door opened, man. And when the door opened, I refused to not walk through it.
Like that's me when I was 24, basically. Like
Yeah.
when I got my first apartment and everything. I had
Hmm.
like a mattress, a TV, and a dresser, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
It took me some time to like, get furnish the place and make it more homely. That's an experience that's an experience a lot of I think every man needs that experience. I think every person needs that experience first of all, but every man, especially a black man, needs that experience of like paying for your own space, no matter how big or small, and having that time where everything you do is dependent on what you do. You know,
Yeah.
like there's no lifeline, there's no bailout button, there's no stimulus from your peoples.
Yep.
You're running under your own steam, and that to me it builds character, and
Yes, sir.
it's very paramount that everybody gets that experience. When they're young, when the time comes, like Live by yourself for a few
Yeah.
years,
Yes, sir.
for sure. All right, so tell me about how you went from a photography business to like scaling it into like this multimedia company. I want to talk more about like your pod studio, the TV studio, and all that fun stuff.
So my whole goal and dream was I wanted to have a one-stop shop. Because no matter what, you gotta have professional photos. And then you gotta have good interviews. When you're doing certain things, you gotta be professional. So I always wanted to have this one-stop shop. Photography after COVID hit, photographers start having issues with just bookings, And so I had a lot of downtime. Okay, what am I going to do next? And that's when the magazine hit. But when I met people in the magazine world, I'm like, man, y'all need my photography skills because they were sitting over selfies. We got people like just you'd be surprised what we see, man. And then I started seeing how this podcasting was like the thing. And I was blessed to already have a nice following. And I'm like, they're like, who you talking to now? Who's next? Who's next? And it's people that would come to me and be like, hey, can we podcast with you? Can we be a part of your studio? Can we be a part of your network? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Until I met some friends that was charging people hundreds and thousands of dollars and they weren't really doing anything. And then I went and I went to a recording session and I was talking to some friends and I'm like, I could do this myself. I'm paying $500 a month to something I could do myself and have set up, you know. And I was telling my wife when we was looking for our house, like I gotta have extra space because I want to do this, I want to do that. And so, when we did build the studio, I was like, man, I just want to be able to have a one-stop shop where if you want to do radio only, you can. If you want to do video and audio, you can. If you want to be in a magazine, and then podcasting, as you know, has its own community. And when I tapped into that community, I'm like, it wasn't just like 10 or 15 people. It's hundreds of thousands of different types of podcasting. And it's just so much opportunity. And I just feel like it was gonna help me with my networking. And we have a slogan over here at 180 Life, your network will depict your net worth. So it was just really, okay, what can we do to get more people on the network? How can we network with more people? How can we get into more areas? And that was really what it was.
On average, it takes like about 10 years to get like a small business off the ground and make it profitable.
Right.
And a lot of entrepreneurs tap out before then because it's just too much of a drag.
Yeah.
When did you know that this was working?
Um mm, so long story short, I was traveling. We had moved to San Antonio and I was traveling with our church. And mind you, I had been on red carpets. I had hosted events. Everybody knew what movies I was in. They see me, and I wasn't main characters. I didn't have no speaking lines. I was just in the background carrying a briefcase, walking through the hallways. I just was one of the featured people that wasn't blurred out, and I was like, that's what people are gonna know me from. And I'll never forget we had checked into our hotel, and they were talking to a group of people, and the lady stopped in the middle of what she was doing, and she was like, "You're the guy on Facebook." And I looked around, and I was like, "Yeah, everybody has a Facebook." No, you're the inspirational guy. You own a magazine company. You got the car with the 180 Life on it. And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." And the same night we went to Cheddar's and I had veered off because I had to take a meeting. I was telling people I was in town, so I took a couple meetings. And in the middle of our meeting, this lady she kept looking, and I'm like, who's this lady staring over here? But we kept conducting our meeting. And before she left out, she was like, "You're Archie JG because you're Mr. 180." And I was like, "Yeah, can I? Who are you?" And she just was like, "Can I take a picture with you?" And from there on, that moment, I was like, I gotta keep inspiring the world. And then from there, within 3 months, I had interviewed with Just Brittany, and I had told people, it might not mean much to y'all, but just to know I'm in this moment. And then I'll never forget when I met with Ali Caldwell. I had interviewed with Ali Caldwell off of the forum. And I was incarcerated actually when she was on the floor. And I used to tell people incarceration, I'm going to work with her one day. And I'll never forget when we met in person. They flew us into Austin, and we all went to South by Southwest. And she seen me, and my security and her security, they had greeted each other. And she was like, "No," she told her security guard, "That is the Mr. Archie." And I was like, "I'm just Archie, man. And you're the guy that owns the Enterprise magazine." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." Oh my. And she was, just for her to be elated to be in my presence was like, wow. And then last week for the After Seven people, to the group, I'm not gonna lie, that does show my age. I didn't know who they were. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
lie and say like I did.
Yeah,
I
ready or
didn't.
not. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
when they got on there and they were telling me, Babyface seen my magazine and this person's, and I was like, wow, like, wait, I'm here. And like I tell people, I might not, because like you said, it's 10 years or more before you see profit. So I have to tell people I don't have money like y'all think I do. I promise. Don't let the car fool you. Don't let this house fool you. I'm just working. My wife has a good
Yeah.
job. I tell people that my wife has a very good job. And it's like, when I'm still going, even though sometimes the puzzle doesn't add up. And like I tell a lot of people, also, I feel like I'm at a point where if I don't make another dollar, I'm grateful. And there's enough 180 life stuff out there that it will always be circulating. I'm in a whole nother country. I'm in Canada. I'm in Jamaica. Like, I never
Hmm.
would have thought, man. And so I'm just grateful. I'm really, really, really grateful.
So,
But
how does like a media company like yours actually make money? Like, are you you're renting out studio time? Like, how what other ways are you do? What other ways are you making money over there?
so what we do is, and a lot of people don't know this, the front cover of a magazine costs. It costs to be on the front cover of magazines. Jet Jet charges, if they were still in rotation. I think the last time I seen them, you got to be an A-list celebrity to be on the front cover because they ask most
Yeah,
time. But to
Jet
get a
magazine,
story
man. You
inside,
took it back.
yeah, to get a story inside of Jet, it was like $1,200,
Hmm.
$1,300. So you, of course, we're always trying to get people to put their story out there. Get your story in our magazine. That's how we rent out studio time. Of course, photography sessions. Um, I have, it's funny because June, I'll have three productions going out. I'll have the regular June 180 Life Enterprise magazine, the special issue, because we do special issues in June, of the Men of Valor. In August, I'll have five productions going out. I have a new book in July. So it's just always something that we tell people, hey, it's this much to be in this book. It's this much to be a part of this. Of course, the studio sessions. I want it where I have 24/7 content going live on all social media platforms.
Gotcha. So like the Dame Dash model.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. Okay. And where is your magazine distributed? Is it just locally or?
No, if you go on Amazon.com, type in Archie J. Jenkins, I'll pop up, man. Look, I'm
Oh, word.
Googleable, man. Googleable, man. Yeah, you can go to Amazon.com, type in Archie J. Jenkins or 180 Life Enterprise Magazine, or any of the people that's featured in there. You can put in their names. You can also look us up on Google. You can go to 180life.com, the website, our website, get a subscription. The subscriptions are only available on 180life.com. I'm blessed to say we have 2,600 people that get a hard copy magazine every month. So that's just the subscription people. That has nothing to do with the people that come per the people that is on the cover. So we're grateful, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just hopped over to Amazon and just did what you asked. And there, sure enough, there you are.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes.
180 Life Enterprise Magazine,
Oh
May
wow.
2023, paperback,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
certified. That's dope, man. That's
Yes, sir.
fantastic. I'll have to order a copy.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Definitely check out our authors of distinction. Big shout out to those guys over there. I'm bringing awareness to Black authors, just authors in general. You know, all types, just really authors in general, because people don't get hard copy stuff. Everybody wants to go digital, So
Hmm.
authors in general, I bring awareness to them. I have over 40 authors going over going it's over 40 authors with a reach of over 7 different states. So we went Arkansas, we got Arkansas, North Carolina, California. We got so many, Texas, of course, Louisiana, Atlanta, Georgia. We have so many authors in there. So it was just dope, man. Like, definitely check that one out. And then that one also has the chapter from my book coming next summer.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. I'll have to, yeah, I'm going to order that for sure. Cool. All right. So I know you've got the book coming up next summer, but what else? What else is on the horizon for you? What's next for you?
So July 2023, we do have a book called The Relationship Goal. I did get a collective of authors that did come together, and everybody thinks that it's going to be about just passionate relationships.
Hmm.
But we want to talk about, there's so many elements of relationship, not just husband and wife, not just dating. But there's business relationships, there's personal relationships, there's family relationships, that we fail to fail to cultivate. So that drops in July 2023, which is less than 60 days away. The cover just dropped yesterday. So that's all over my social media. June the 1st, 2023, I will be in interview with After Seven. We will be live on Facebook and YouTube. So definitely tune in on the 180 Life or the 180 Show on YouTube. Definitely tune in. So we'll be doing a live with them. I have so many lives coming up. We will be on tour the whole month of June. August the 5th, I do have 180 Life is presenting the Entrepreneurship Gala, and we do have a book fair during the day, and it will be a gala that evening. So I have Allie Caldwell from New York. You might have seen her on the floor. She's coming to host it. That's my friend, man. So she's coming to host out here in San Antonio. I have people from all over the world coming in. I've been getting people's rooms and getting stuff together. So I've been just like moving, trying to keep things going. And of course, you already know we got the magazine every month. Definitely getting people's brands off the ground, pushing. But July, we start our gospel section. So
Hmm.
we're starting that in July. So I'm excited about that as well.
Okay. Might have to holler at you about getting some placement for this podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely tap in with me, man. We ready for you.
For sure. All right. Wonderful, man. It was fantastic talking to you, man, and getting to know you and your story and your business. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do in the future. Before we wrap, just tell the people where they can find you.
Listen, go over to Facebook at Archie J. Jenkins. Don't forget that J now. Archie J. Jenkins. Definitely go onto the website, 180lyfe.com. You can go over to Instagram at 180life underscore 180 show. You can email us 180life180show at gmail.com. You already know you got to go like, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube at 180 show, 180SHOW. Listen, it's been an honor, man. I thank you so much for having me. Come on Facebook is 180 Life as well. We do have a company page on there. You can just reach out, let us know if there's anything we can do for you, anything if you want to, sew into us, help us out. You want us to help y'all push brands, hey, tap in with us. See what specials we got going on because we always got some specials going.
For sure. Yeah, I'm gonna follow you everywhere. I know. I think we're connected on Facebook. I just followed
Yes,
you on Instagram. I'll follow you. I'll subscribe to your YouTube channel too, man. It was wonderful
yes, sir.
talking
Yes,
to you.
sir.
And as always, my good people, a lack of discipline may cost you your kingdom. No sympathy for kings. Take care.
Hey.